Good morning. It's Thursday, the 15th of February. That sounds about right. About 6 o'clock in the morning. Not been home long. So, the subject today, my computer's just gone bleep, so probably an email or something come in. I talked about this DVD the other day, The Normal Heart, where I said on the back it's all in French, so I couldn't actually remember what it was about. I have watched it. Brilliant film. First off, great cast. We'll go through some of the names. Mark Ruffalo plays the character Ned Weeks. Taylor Keach as Bruce Niles. Julia Roberts as Dr. Emma Bruckner. Matt Bomer as Felix Turner, who is the love interest of the Ned Weeks character. Alfred Molina, British actor, who plays Ben Weeks, who is the lawyer brother of Ned. And Jim Parsons as Tom Boatwright. These are the faces that I recognise. There's obviously more cast members. So what is it about? That says it's gay orientated. It's set between 1981 and 1984. At the end there's a bit of a dialogue box comes up, you know, like they do on films, on these biographies around 85 and 86, but it's basically between 1981 and 1984. Set in New York, and the film starts with the Ben Weeks character. He's a bit of a loner. He's a writer, a journalist, and in some respects a bit of a gay activist. And he notices in the gay community this new disease starts appearing, where people are getting cancer. It's a sarcoma. I've forgotten the word of it, but it's the cancer. And through meeting a doctor, the Dr. Emma Bruckner character, he finds out that it is a cancer that's just affecting the gay community. And what we're basically talking about is AIDS. And the film is basically how him and some of the other guys set up this gay men's health crisis centre, so people can ring in, try to get information. The only problem is, it's this new disease. It's 1981. Not many people know what's about it. What they do know, it affects the gay community. People get it, and people are dying. So they lobby the mayor, try to get meetings with the mayor, try to disseminate the information, try to get acknowledgement from the White House, and basically nobody wants to know. There's a scene in it where he finally gets a meeting with a representative of the mayor's office. He does that by basically outing the mayor on national TV. Well, he should be concerned because he is a screaming queen after all, type of thing. Not very nice. I've never been into outing people. If people want to stay in the closet, that's their decision. But he finally gets this meeting with this bloke. And it was the attitude. It's biography, even though the names are being changed. It's based on a true story. But the basic attitude was, well, you've got like 500,000 gay men and women in New York. You've only got about 8,900 people sick, from what you're telling me, and only 20 people have died. So we've got other priorities. Which his answer was, we've only got 800 at the moment. When are you going to start to act? When it gets to 1,000? When it gets to 2,000? When it gets to 3,000? How many people have to die before you do anything about it? And one of the other scenes is he finally gets a meeting with a representative of the White House. Hey! Not with the president, but one of his sort of in England we would call them the cabinet. Don't know what you would call them in America. Like the inner circle. And this bloke's question was, if a man goes with a prostitute, is he liable to get this disease? Which the Ned Weeks character says, well, we haven't seen any cases yet in the heterosexual world, but it's rampant in the gay world. As soon as he said that, the bloke didn't want to know. Oh, well, that's fair enough then. Oh, well, yeah, we'll look into it, but he was right concerned, because obviously him or somebody had been going visiting, doing naughties with a prostitute, and they were worried in case they would catch it. So it's about AIDS, gay activism, but it's not more for the treatment, it's about the recognition, trying to get the word out there. Now the characters are made up, and some of them are composite of characters, but some of them are actual characters. The bloke that wrote the play is a gentleman called Larry Kramer, a gay activist, and he is the Ned Weeks character. It's basically his story. The Dr. Emma Bruckner character is Linda Jane Laubenstein. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. She is a doctor who, through her early life, developed polio and became basically wheelchair bound. And she became a doctor, and she was one of the early researchers into HIV and AIDS. And she was sort of saying, you know, the American health system gives billions of dollars to some disease that probably only 5 or 6 people suffer from. Here she is with a hospital that she's having to try to find beds for, with all these people coming in with this mysterious disease. No help in trying to find the cause of it. She's already got 100, 200 people that either died or are dying, and the authorities don't want to basically know anything about it. She has a meeting with like the health board, or who give the grants out and stuff like that. One of the characters there, the Felix Turner, is, like I said, is the Ned Weeks boyfriend, partner, who develops AIDS, and he does die in the film. And I've looked, and he did actually die in real life while he was still with Ned Weeks' character, the Larry Kramer character. Very, in some respects, very emotional in places. There's a scene where this guy with AIDS wants to go and visit his parents. He knows he's dying, and he's on this plane. The first pilot doesn't want to drive the plane because he's got this bloke with this gay disease on. But another pilot comes on and he flies the plane. Partway through the journey, he starts losing it. Anyway, the character went, who was a member of this GMHC, because we're counting down. By the time they get to the hospital, I forget where he was going, he died. Now the problem is, as I understand it, they can't issue a death certificate until post-mortem has been done. And you can't arrange a funeral or a cremation or anything like that unless you've got a death certificate. Well, the mortician there didn't want to touch this person that got this mysterious disease. So no autopsy, no cremation or anything like that. So the bloke had to pay backhanders money to one of the orderlies to sneak the body out of the hospital, basically wrapped in a big plastic bag, take it to a dubious funeral director who's got a crematorium to have the body cremated, who was charging lots of money to do it because it was illegal to get this person cremated. But officially, this person didn't have a death certificate. Things like that, it does make you begin to, should I say, well up a bit, especially the way I am at the moment. Right, let's talk about the Larry Kramer character. Obnoxious, narcissist, loudmouth, ignorant, rebellious, in some respects to the gay community, disrespectful, like I says, he outed people to get his point. But he got the point across. When they did television interviews, they weren't going to the official council, they were wanting him on their talk shows. So a very obnoxious guy. I can imagine if you met him in real life, you'd either like him or take an instant dislike to him. I bet more people took an instant dislike to him than actually liked him. But he got the message through. The gay community didn't like it because one thing he said is we've got to stop being promiscuous and stop fucking and stop sucking and stuff, because we don't. At that time they didn't know. They knew it was this doctor knew it was a virus, but they didn't know how it was being transmitted. Was it being transmitted through kissing? You know, well, we now know it's through bodily fluids, mainly anal or, you know, the body secretions. But at that time, they knew nothing. And to turn around to a gay community, and their attitude was, this is our identity. We've fought all these years for equality. We've gone through Stonewall. So we have the right to do this. And now you're telling us you want us to give it up. But best thing, I mean, the Jim Parsons character, the Tommy Boatwright, he's one of the guys on the switchboard, the council. And it was a real mind. Because when he got a phone call, anytime anybody died, he got a Rolodex with all the names on, people contacted him. He took them out, instead of throwing them in the bin, he kept them. So you could see, I mean, one part of the film it's this big, then it's that big, then it's that big, until eventually there's like 2 or 3 piles of them. And that was the reality. Very good film. Very good film. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. But it tugs at the emotions. To somebody who's straight, probably not as much. To a person that's gay. Plus also somebody my age that was just coming out and starting to enjoy the gay scene when this dreaded disease hit the headlines. It does bring back some memories of the fear. I mean, I know over here, 82, 83, we started hearing about this and people were saying, you know, I mean, the stupid things like, if you sit on the toilet seat with somebody who's got AIDS, you know, you could chance of catching it. If you kiss somebody who got AIDS, you could catch it. All this fear mongering. But then again, even as a gay community, we weren't exactly sure in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, what mechanism actually this was spread by. So in some respects we were drawn into that fear as well. It was a very frightening time. The young people these days who are just coming out, I mean, oh well, I'm going to have sex. I'll take PrEP. I'll take. Yeah. there was nothing like that. The first drugs out were basically poison. There were the AZT drugs. There was a trial of a drug that everybody in the trial group died. You know, it was this scary. The AZT drugs are basically a poison. So yeah, it stopped the disease from progressing, but it made you feel like shit, and it made you look like shit. Some people ended up looking like victims from Belson. I mean, it was that bad. But yes, as I said, a very good film. More about the politics behind the HIV and AIDS than actually the research or some of the other films that have dealt with AIDS. It's more about, come on, city, come on, country. This is a disease that's affecting not just New York, it's happening in San Francisco, it's happening in Los Angeles, it's happening in... It's about time we started talking about it, started trying to find out what this is, and the government and the local cities were saying, we don't want to touch it with a barge pole, basically. At the moment, it's only in the gay community, it's not affecting our community type of thing. So it's a very sad time. The Dr. Ellen Bruckner character, like I said, is based on that doctor, and the Ned Weeks character is based on this Larry Kramer. But very good film. The other film I talked about was this Prayers for Bobby. Wow. What a real... well, basically a mindfuck, to put it plainly. Teenager realises he's gay, comes out to his ultra-conservative Catholic family. The kids don't seem to be bothered. The father's a bit, well, yeah, but okay then, you shouldn't be that. The mother, she'll even write him Bible verses down, put them round the house, keep him on the straight and narrow. And eventually he started coming round. He went to visit a relative. Again, I don't know where, but he went to visit a relative. Came back out straight away. Came out with, I've met somebody there, I like him. And yeah, we kissed and we spent some time together. Mother went into a rage, so he moved out. His attitude was, you either accept me as gay, you're a gay son, or you don't accept me at all. And she basically said, well, I don't accept you at all, I have no son then. So he went back, I think it was Boston, he went back to, fell into a fit of depression, basically committed suicide. Just couldn't live with it. So that's like the first half of the film, and the second half of the film is her questioning everything that she believed. And she ended up with this church that accept gay people, and I mean, one of the things to say, you know, she brought out the Levitical law. What a load of crap when people bring that out. I cry people down quite easily with that. But again, this priest did the same, you know. He basically asked her, do you eat pork? Paul probably says, yeah, but says, you should be sent out and be stoned. Says a woman that isn't a virgin should be took to her father's home and be stoned. A woman who commits adultery should be stoned. Says a child that is disobedient to the mother and father should be taken out and stoned to death. Says we don't actually expect people to do that. Says but on gay sex, you know, we pick out these things, yet we seem to forget about all this other stuff. And he brought out a lot of stuff I brought out before about clothing, pork, shellfish, and I've done this before, gay in the Bible. And it was a actual realisation at all, in the end, that, you know, God makes us as we are and how we feel, and God has compassion and stuff like that. So it was this sort of realisation, and she ended up member of, was it P-Flag? Parents and Friends for Lesbians and Gays, and she actually spoke up in some of these meetings. So, but it was this kid listening to his mother. It's a film, and I was stood there and I was shocked at some of the stuff she was coming out with. Even though from strangers I've heard it, you know, the placards in the streets, you know, the Westboro Baptist Church type of people, you know, that type of hatred. But to have it coming from your mother, it's no wonder the kid was a bit loopy and ended up committing suicide. But those are the two DVDs. The other one, The Man in the Orange Shirt, I haven't watched yet, but I know roughly what that's about, which I've talked about before. But these two DVDs, brilliant. And can't really say anything else. The Normal Heart, you've got to basically sit there, put it on, switch all the distractions, switch your phone off, switch everything off, and watch it. I found, and it's over a 2-hour film, including the credits, but I think 2 hours 5 minutes film. And I sat there. I didn't make a drink. I didn't go make a sandwich. Didn't go for anything to eat, or I basically sat there for the full 2 hours and watched it. And it's in some spaces, like I says, it is very, very emotional. The Praise for Bobby is emotional in the other way, in the different ways, about how pressure from the family is put on a gay teenager just coming out. So I said I would do a review on these. I can highly recommend them both. It says Normal Heart's about 2 hours 5 minutes. That's about, Praise for Bobby's about an hour and a half. Sigourney Weaver in it. There's a couple of other actors. Who's the father? Sigourney Weaver. Don't say the father. I recognise his face. I recognise his face, but I don't recognise the name. Highly recommend them. Rightio, I'm going to upload this, then it's my cup of coffee time, an hour with the TV, then it's bed, before getting up and going back to work. Bye for now.